welcome everyone to Rotary. We have guests this afternoon. First, Ronald Nelson and Bill Buckle are guests of the night. Would you stand, please? And Katie Blackhaven, if I said that correctly, soon to be a member, I think. Okay, and we also have some Rotaract members, Katie, Natasha, and Emily. And last, but of course most important, our District Governor, Michael Proctor. Thank you very much.
Rotarians, today our guest speaker, as you can see by looking at the screen, is Kelly Mann. And Kelly's a longtime Victoria resident, born and raised here. He's an all-time good guy. So of all the people that I've met over the years, and I've known him for almost 20 years, he's dedicated to the Game Society. He's dedicated to this province, and he's probably seen every single corner of this province. Pleasure to be here today to speak to the Rotary Club. I am a born and raised Victorian, and very proud of that fact. Also very proud of the fact that I am the President and Chief Executive Officer of the BC Game Society, which is a not-for-profit organization that was founded in the late 70s by former Premier Bill Bennett, who brought the Games concept from Alberta. Since that time, we've taken the Games from more than community development to athlete development. We are responsible for the BC Winter Games, which are a biennial event, so we have those two games in the even calendar years. We have responsibility for a program called Team BC, which is the best young athletes and coaches the province has to offer in winter and summer sport, and they're currently competing in Prince George at this very moment on the final day of Week 1 competition, where we sit in 4th place in medals behind Quebec, Ontario, and Alberta. We also have responsibility through a contract for something called the 55 Plus BC Games, which, as the name infers, caters to those athletes who are 55 and older. And they compete on an annual basis around the province. So our mission statement is essentially to be a leader. And I can say with all confidence and all sincerity that the leadership that we have here in the province of British Columbia is really leadership in the country of Canada. The things that we do here in British Columbia, the Made in BC solutions that we have either in sport across the sector or in our organization specifically, are really leading edge in terms of what other provinces and territories are doing. As I said, we moved from a participation model where our athletes could have been 13 years, they could have been 50 years old. It wasn't really a huge offering to a community or to our sponsorship folks. They wanted to see something a little bit different. So in 1994, we moved to a developmental model where we said enough of the hacks. We don't want Kelly Mann coming and falling off a diving board. We want a 13-year-old potential Olympian. And in Victoria, that's Riley McCormick. We want a potential Tour de France cyclist. That's Ryder Hesjedal. We want a potential world champion triathlete. That's Kirsten Sweetland. All of those individuals have been to a BC Games and have gone through our system and through onto other events. So the Sport for Life model that I spoke about, as I said, was really developed here in British Columbia, and one of the principal architects is a fellow named Richard Way, who lives here in town. He actually just spoke at a conference with Bill Clinton. He was invited to come and speak because the Americans are recognizing that they have an incredibly tough time of it, particularly in the yellow section there of physical literacy. That's where we're teaching the kids those fundamentals. We talked about the Games being development for athletes. It's very important that the Games also become a development opportunity for community, where new skills are founded. They connect organizations and groups that typically don't work together. School districts and cities, regional districts and school boards. There's lots of those organizations that have, over time, started under the guise of a BC Games and stayed together. The Games are about an opportunity to obviously engage thousands of volunteers to learn new skills, and we provide some of that training. We certainly see the opportunity to initiate new sport clubs. Sometimes a sport doesn't exist in a community, and the Games are that catalyst for that. And then, of course, sport tourism. Sport tourism 20 years ago did not exist.
tourism operators saw tourists as those with cameras and knee socks that came off the coho. Now they see them as folks with hockey bags and baseball bags and golf bags. So I think Steve was saying there may be opportunity for questions. I know I'm against the clock. I know that you have lots of important business to do. I am available for questions.
I really appreciated hearing about and being reminded about the importance of what you're doing, and to reflect our appreciation. We have restored the eyesight of a lady who is 70 years old, and her name is Bibi, and she lives in India. Really happy to be able to welcome our District Governor, Michael Proctor, back to our club, and he is going to give us an update.
Thank you very much, Ali, President Ali, and it's good to be back in Victoria. I just arrived on the Coho ferry this morning. I've been in Washington State for the last 2 weeks doing some more club visits. A couple of changes to the Rotary Foundation were noted in the recent issue of the Rotarian magazine. They talked about some changes in the grant structure as far as applying for matching grants from the foundation, and those will become effective on the 1st of July, so those are important. They also talked about the funding of the foundation for the administrative costs, and the fact that those funds are achieved by retaining the donations to the annual giving fund for 3 years before they come back as matching grants, and the interest on those funds is used for that. Membership is always a bit of a challenge, and your club has set the bar very high over the past couple of years in your membership growth, and we all appreciate websites. I think websites are very, very important, and I talked to Kim McGowan and Ali just before the meeting about what I feel are important on websites, and I think that the listing of the projects that clubs do and the amount that they donate to each of those projects is very important, because it tells prospective members what Rotary does. The District Leadership Training Assembly this year is in Centralia, Washington, at the college there, and that takes place on the 27th and 28th of March, so that's something to consider. I know a lot of clubs try and have their new incoming board of directors and so on attend those meetings. They're pretty critical to learn the job responsibilities. And my favorite topic this time of year is to promote the conference, and I put out some more of my little promotional pamphlets and the fridge magnets, which I encourage you to take home with you and hang on the fridge where you'll see them every day. And we would look forward to having as many of you as possible at the conference, which is in Nanaimo this year.
That the End Polio Now Light Up is next week. It's on Monday evening, that's February 23rd. At the Empress Hotel, and it's a curry buffet. Now I'd like to invite one of our Rotaract guests, Emily Patterson, to come on up, and she's going to fill us in on something that they're working on.
So the Literacy Committee is hosting an event not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We're working with the Oak Bay Interact Club to host a book drive. We are looking for books for children aged 0 to 5, and we're donating those to 1000i5. We're hoping for a lot of people to come out so we can have a lot of books to donate to them. It's from 9 till 2 at Oak Bay High.
And we'll bring up our Director of Recognition, Mr. Steve Wallace.
Blair and Gus, cohorts, connived to do a sample drawing of the winning ticket for the 50-50. And Gus was demonstrating to Blair how it could be manipulated. And they drew my ticket with no resulting prize. So confounding myself and doing a pre-draw to the original draw, you both have to pay $1. Mike, our district governor, thank you very much for your words. How many people actually came up and introduced themselves to you, Mike? You are
Everybody in the room.
Pardon me?
Everybody in the room.
Thank you.
Was Dan Parker won his own award? I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Dan,
Yes.
would you please put in $1 for Mary's honesty, and then another $1 for your tardiness.
All right, let's stand for the Queen.